The reason you're not getting the fights is not because Islam's scared. It's not because he's injured. It's not because Ilya's scared. Cut all the bullshit. They're the two of the greatest fighters, pound for pound number one, pound for pound number two. No one's scared of anybody. They want to fight each other, but they want to be compensated. Ilya's manager got a call on Thursday night at midnight, and they go, we want Islam versus Ilya at the White House. His manager goes, cool, we want this much money. UFC said, no, we're not going to pay that much money. Went, cool, then there's not much to talk about. They go, who can we call who will agree to this bullshit budget we're trying to propose? Call up Justin Gaethje. He goes, yep, I'm in. They call Ilya's manager again. He goes, okay, you're asking too much for Islam. How about Justin Gaethje? He goes, all right, we'll do it for that. That's how that goes down.
You said that you're ready to go up a division. There's a tweet from Ilya Topuria that he can go up the weight and he can beat you with no problem. What do you think about that?
Не знаю, еще столько соперников, и все хотят меня там в первом, во втором раунде финишировать, все говорят об этом, но я же сказал, сделайте 70 килограмм, заходите в клетку и посмотрим, кто кого финиширует.
There's all these opponents, they all say they want to finish me in the first or second round. I already said, if you can make 155, you can get into the cage. Let's talk about it then.
Who do you think wins if Islam and Topuria fight?
I hope it's gonna happen. It's gonna be a tough fight for Ilya, for sure. Ilya make you either shoot him, which is he will stop, or no, Islam has to strike with him, and then striking, we all know that how Ilya fights and how dangerous he is and how knockout power he have. So it's gonna be a tough fight for Ilya for sure, like every fight is, but I believe he can finish Islam.
The fight's completely off. Islam Makhachev just pulled out of what could have been the biggest super fight of the year. And according to Ilya Topuria, it's because Islam got cold feet and made up a fake injury to escape. But here's where this gets absolutely wild. Topuria isn't just calling him out. He's going full scorched earth on social media, claiming Islam chickened out the moment their names got linked together for the White House card. So here's exactly what went down behind the scenes, and this story is way crazier than you think. Topuria says the UFC brass approached him about headlining this massive White House event, and when they mentioned Islam Makhachev as his potential opponent, he didn't hesitate for even a second. Zero doubt, immediate acceptance. The man wanted that smoke instantly. But then the very next morning, right before the card was supposed to be announced officially, Islam mysteriously develops an injury and the whole fight gets scrapped. Convenient timing, right? Topuria's claiming this is a pattern, that Islam always finds excuses when real competition comes calling, and he's not staying quiet about it anymore. Now Islam fired back with some serious venom, and you can feel the anger radiating through his response. He's basically saying Topuria is the one who chickened out, telling him to stop covering his cowardice with nasty tweets. And here's the kicker, Islam says they'll fight for free just to settle this beef. That's when you know someone's genuinely pissed off, when the lightweight champion is willing to give up millions just to prove a point. But there's something deeper happening here that nobody's talking about. This isn't just about two fighters going at each other on Twitter. This is about power, positioning, and who really controls the narrative in the fight game. But let me ask you something crucial. Do you honestly think Islam Makhachev, the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world, is actually scared of anyone? Because I'm calling absolute nonsense on that theory. These elite fighters don't get to the top by running from competition. Sure, there might be performance anxiety before stepping into that octagon, the weight of expectations, the pressure of maintaining a legacy, but being scared to fight, not happening. Both of these guys are absolute killers who have proven themselves against the best competition on the planet. So if Islam really did pull out, there's got to be more to this story than simple fear. Here's what's really interesting about this whole mess. The managers are catching serious strays in this beef, and it's actually hilarious. Topuria called both their managers ugly and used some choice words I can't repeat here, while Islam's response mentioned Topuria's fat manager asking for billions to make fights. The funny part? Topuria's manager actually responded saying he's lost 40 pounds and wondering why people still call him fat. It's like watching a playground argument between grown men who control millions of dollars in fight contracts. And here's the thing, there's a decent chance Ali Abdelaziz might have written Islam's response entirely, because that man lives on social media defending his fighters. Forget all the Twitter drama for a minute, because the fight that's actually happening is the one we should be focused on, Topuria versus Justin Gaethje for the interim lightweight championship at the White House card. And honestly, this might be an even better fight than the Islam matchup would have been. Gaethje is coming off wars with some of the most dangerous strikers in the division. And while he's shown incredible heart and skill, he's also been hurt and dropped multiple times in recent fights. Meanwhile, Topuria is walking around with knockout power that's genuinely scary, the kind of one-shot ability that can end fights instantly against anyone. Think about the absolute destruction Topuria has left in his wake recently, because this knockout streak is legitimately terrifying. He flatlined Charles Oliveira, who had just dominated Max Holloway in his previous fight. Before that, he stopped Holloway himself, making it look almost easy against a guy known for his legendary chin and durability. And before that, he knocked out Alexander Volkanovski when Volk was considered by many to be the best pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. That's 3 consecutive knockouts against 3 of the most elite fighters in the sport, and now Gaethje is stepping into that same firing line. If Topuria adds Gaethje to that list, we're talking about one of the most dominant knockout streaks in UFC history. So here's my question for you. Who do you think really backed out of this super fight? And do you believe Islam is actually ducking Topuria? Or is there more going on behind the scenes that we don't know about? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this situation is far from over. If this breakdown helped you understand what's really happening with this drama, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications, because things are about to get even crazier when these fighters step into that octagon. I'll see you in the next one. And speaking of things getting crazier, let me tell you something that's going to blow your mind about the timing of all this drama. The White House card isn't just any regular UFC event. This is supposed to be a massive showcase with international implications, and the political pressure behind the scenes is absolutely insane. We're talking about diplomatic relationships, massive sponsorship deals, and the kind of money that makes regular pay-per-view numbers look like pocket change. So when a main event falls apart this close to the announcement, it's not just about 2 fighters beefing on social media anymore. Here's what nobody's mentioning in all this chaos. Topuria's confidence isn't just coming from nowhere, and his call-out strategy is actually brilliant from a business perspective. Think about it logically for a second. He's the featherweight champion who's been absolutely demolishing everyone in his path, and now he's openly campaigning to jump up in weight and take on the lightweight king. That's not just confidence, that's calculated ambition. Every single tweet, every public statement, every piece of this social media war is building his brand and positioning him as the fighter who's willing to take on anyone, anywhere, anytime. Meanwhile, Islam's pulling out, whether it's legitimate or not, makes him look like he's avoiding the challenge. But let's talk about something that's been bothering me throughout this entire situation, because there's a massive elephant in the room that everyone's ignoring. The injury excuse has been used so many times in this sport that fans automatically assume it's fake whenever it's convenient. And honestly, sometimes it is fake. We've seen fighters pull out for injuries that magically heal right after a replacement opponent gets announced. But here's the thing that's driving me crazy. What if Islam's injury is completely legitimate, and now he's getting absolutely roasted online for something that's totally out of his control? The medical side of this sport is no joke, and these fighters are putting their bodies through absolute hell in training camps. We're talking about guys who train through broken bones, torn muscles, and injuries that would sideline regular people for months. So when a fighter actually pulls out for medical reasons, it's usually because something is seriously wrong. But the timing here is so suspicious that even Islam's most loyal fans are starting to question whether this injury is real or just a convenient excuse to avoid a dangerous fight. And here's where this gets really interesting from a strategic standpoint. Both fighters are actually winning in different ways from this entire situation. Topuria gets to paint himself as the fearless challenger who's ready for anyone, building his reputation as someone who never backs down from a fight. Meanwhile, Islam gets to avoid a potentially dangerous matchup while his injury heals, and he can always come back later claiming he was never scared, just medically unable to compete. It's almost like both camps calculated that this drama would benefit them more than actually fighting would.